Brothers and sisters, this will be the third segment on our analysis today, where we are reviewing, revisiting, diagnosing, to be more precise, West Africa, where dictatorial regimes claim to be leading, in quotes, the most peaceful countries in the continent. That is indeed paradoxical, interesting, and a very topical issue where analysis are called for. Now remember, no nation can remain an island, especially in a zone where there are more risks hovering over that particular nation than benefits. Now we are going to be guided by risks and benefits again in this case, especially when it comes to cross-border crimes and other aspects related to the former. On one hand, the case of Cameroon can easily attract the attention of marauding fighters, sleeper cells, warmongers, or terrorists. Remember our analysis last week, where we said in West Africa in particular, sleeper cells has two meanings: terrorist sleeper cells and mercenary sleeper cells. Mercenaries were used in wars like the Blood Diamond War, Ivory Coast, and other parts, who have lost ground but still remain with the same zeal and will to be paid, cause havoc by making money through terror and horror. They're still there. So consider them the other sleeper cell. Now, that's why we said on one hand, the case of Cameroon can easily attract the attention of marauding fighters like these, sleeper cells, warmongers, or terrorists, who are indeed agents of arms dealers. Yes, they are. Their first desire is their first desire would be to test this virgin country or virgin countries like that one projected in the documentary, in this case being Cameroon. Remember, they are yet to discover these virgin areas as far as their operations are concerned. I'm talking about mercenary sleeper cells, terrorists, and arms dealers. Unfortunately, though, it is such areas that evil and desirous souls like these are always ready to enter into, and they are constantly searching for such areas. As we speak, part of their plans could be trying to infiltrate the jungle there. Mark you, they may have sympathizers in the north. Now, that being the case, we are calling the attention of governments, in this case particularly the Gambia government here, that no person, especially people whose operations are related to security matters, should ever rule out security threats, even in the most stable of all nations on earth. Yes. The motivator for such marauding fighters and mercenaries here will be to expand territory and their market. Certainly their products are arms, drugs, and captured human beings they turn to slaves for hiding or hidden. I will underpin that part. Hiding or hidden slave masters in the Arab world and Africa itself. I'm not going to mince my words here. It's not going to be diplomatic, but countries like Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia cannot deny that they have people who turn mates they hire through agencies into domestic slaves in their countries. And Qatar itself, there are documentaries that have proven that Children are abducted from these countries and turned to horse riders. They know that. Before we jump into talking about the quagmire between Palestine and Israel, I'm talking about African countries here. Why not we also put it in one package and ask these Arab countries, why do they entertain people to turn blacks into slaves? Why? It is a fact, and they know that. In fact, is much noise being made on Arab televisions about the slave trade in Libya? No, because the culture there believes that it is their birthright to use such people as slaves, which is absolutely crazy. It is until last week that the president of Mauritania came out to accept that there is slavery in Mauritania, because in their minds, it is not a crime, it is a cultural phenomenon, which is a fact. These things have to be combined in analysis for us to find the truth and the fact, so that we can base this analysis on that to be able to remedy the situation. Niceties of diplomacy or form substituting substance will not solve this problem. Now, Cameroon, although relatively peaceful as we speak, could be considered a coin with a head and tail. Yes. It is either the situation remains as it is for some time, or it can abruptly witness the opposite, like the case of many countries. It is a country that can equally be used as an example, thus urge African nations to organize an international conference in Yaoundé. Of course, not to give credit to Paul Biya, but to give credit to a situation that has presented itself and cannot be ignored. In this case, in a positive way. Cameroon, of course, where peace is to be considered a topic in our part of the world, could be a symbolic role model for other nations to copy from. However, there are other complexities within Cameroon itself, especially on the side of politics, which must be diagnosed before being blindly copied, as nations differ from all angles and all sides. Negative energy stemming from experience and challenges on the ground reminds us of Nigeria's Boko Haram around that area. Boko Haram is far from being completely weakened. They are, of course, buying time, which they are very good at, which terrorist organizations or warlords are very good at. Even though it has recently received a heavy blow from the Nigerian army, nations in that area, particularly countries like the Gambia, that are relatively stable, must remain more vigilant than even those nations that are already in turmoil. Let us end this third part and bring you the fourth part in today's analysis.